It is a milestone, and we're very excited. And I should say to you that one of the first things that Premier Clark said to me when she gave me the honor of being the Solicitor General was, I want to see this office move forward. I want you to move quickly. I want it to be done properly. But she gave me the task of making sure that this was put in place for British Columbians.
You know, I think, as I said to both Minister Bond and to Justice Braidwood, and everybody who's been involved in this, when we end our public lives, as we all do one day, hopefully people cheering us on at the end of it, we all look back at the things that we've accomplished. And I think what we're announcing today is something that Shirley Bond and certainly Mr. Justice Braidwood will look back on as something that they have accomplished in their lives that has left a real mark on British Columbia, a permanent change for the better in this province. The public's trust in our police forces is absolutely crucial. It is a key pillar of our society. And for the courageous men and women who serve on our police forces, it is an enormous responsibility that they take on every single day. They know that they have to earn that trust on every shift they do, and life and death decisions have to be made in split seconds. These decisions are analyzed then, subsequently, at great length in the full glare of public scrutiny. And that's why Justice Braidwood's report on Robert Zikansky's case strongly recommended that British Columbia establish an independent investigating office. And that's why today I am so pleased that our Solicitor General, the first female Solicitor General in British Columbia's history, Shirley Bond, tabled new legislation to create a civilian-led independent investigations office. It will conduct transparent, accountable investigations of incidents that involve BC police officers that result in death or in serious injury. The Independent Investigations Office will help preserve public confidence. It will be led by a civilian who has never been a police officer. It will report to the Attorney General, not the Solicitor General, and its powers will be entrenched in the Police Act. We have taken the time to get this legislation right. And we believe that this office will be the most effective of its kind anywhere across this country. It will have the full power to investigate all BC police agencies, including independent departments and the RCMP. British Columbians are well served by one of the largest complements of sworn officers in the province's history. And I want to acknowledge today the courageous work that they do every day to keep our communities and our families safe. As Justice Braidwood very accurately observed, the most important weapon in the arsenal of police is public confidence and support of what they do. By the end of this year, I expect that the Independent Investigations Office will be helping to protect and support a well-deserved reputation for excellence that has been built by thousands and thousands of hard-working BC police officers over many generations.
Today, the government of British Columbia have introduced legislation that will establish a civilian-run independent investigative office for criminal investigations of police-related cases involving death and serious harm. And if you've had a chance to look at the legislation, it goes even further than that. I'd like to take a few minutes to comment on this important legislation and how it came about. I recently conducted a commission of inquiry into the tragic death of Robert Zikansky at the International Airport in 2007. During the inquiry, it emerged that the RCMP's, the Integrated Homicide Investigation Team, investigated whether any of the 4 RCMP officers involved in the incident should be charged criminally. Public reaction was swift and vocal that the police should not investigate themselves. I agreed, and in my report I recommended that British Columbia establish a civilian-based investigative body modeled on Ontario's Special Investigators Unit to investigate all serious police-related incidents, determine whether or not criminal charges should be laid against a police officer. My recommendation was built on the careful examination of this issue by my colleague William Davies, QC, who inquired into the death of Frank Paul in Vancouver's downside east side several years earlier. When I released my report last May, the provincial government promised to act on this recommendation. By tabling the legislation today, that promise has been kept. And I commend the government for its commitment to this much-needed reform. I salute, too, BC's municipal police forces and the RCMP, which have embraced the need for a civilian-based agency to investigate serious public-related cases. This reform will go a long way towards strengthening public confidence in our law enforcement agencies. For the new Independent Investigations Office to do the job required, it must be civilian through and through. And in my report, I set a very high bar. Quote, no member of IAO shall have served anywhere in Canada as a police officer. I am told that this is the strictest standard for any civilian-based program that has been examined. And I defer now to others to determine how long it will take to develop a cadre of competent investigators to investigate these important and sometimes complex cases. Everyone agrees that we cannot compromise on competence, but neither can we resile from the core value that the new office be truly civilian through and through. It is tragic that Frank Paul and Robert Desansky had to die before the practice of the police investigating themselves could be put to rest forever. But that day has finally arrived, and I encourage the people of British Columbia to support this legislation. It certainly conforms to my recommendations, and I compliment those that drafted it.